Hi, this is Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. In my humble opinion, there is a path that you can use specifically to better yourself as a human being, to improve yourself as a human being. That is the POHEC, the path of to essentially to stop playing Dungeons and Dragons, start using Dungeons and Dragons to make yourself better. That is the POHEC, the path of optimum human exploration by class. Today, I'm going to share my opinion on how to do that specifically with the Ranger class. All right. So the Ranger is fascinating. They are one of the most interesting classes within Dungeons and Dragons, and they have this one fundamental part. And of course, they're a mixture of fighter, they're a mixture of druid, they're a mixture of a few other classes. They have elements of all of these things, but the most interesting aspect of the Ranger, the part that we will focus on to learn more about ourselves as players, right? So your Dungeon Master is going to set this narrative canvas before you. You are going to ask, you're going to run experiments, you're going to ask questions about one fundamental aspect of humanity using the Ranger class, and that is companionship, okay? The Ranger, unlike any other class, has a companion, right? This is a creature that is connected to them at one point, that becomes an extension of themselves. Their relationship with this companion is so deep, right, that they can they share each other's senses, right? When one feels pain, the other feels pain. There is an emotional, there is almost a spiritual, there is a physical connection between the Ranger and the Ranger's companion, right? We as humans have, now the Ranger has foregone this choice, right? The Ranger goes forward, gets a companion, and lives their lives dedicated to the safety of this companion, but also the companion dedicating itself to the eternal, right? The vehement, the very persistent aid of the Ranger, right? So basically the companion, once connected, never bound, once connected to the Ranger, right? Dedicates itself to always aiding that Ranger in achieving what the Ranger wants to achieve, right? So as players, as humans, right, how do we learn from the Ranger, right? This is a huge question, right? We are brought into this earth, we arrive at our adulthood, and there is a fundamental question about life that shapes us, right? That shapes every decision we have going forward. And that is, how are we approaching life? Will we transverse it alone, or will we have a companion, right? Some people say, I'm going to have a companion, I'm going to marry, right? Others say, I'm going to have a companion. I will never marry, but I will take this pet, and this pet will be incredibly important to me, right? And there will be no limits to what I'm willing to do for the health, the safety, the benefit of this pet, right? And so once we get to adult age, we have this question of companionship. Do we walk through life as a lone ranger, right? Like, do we walk through life as without aid, right? Without aid, and simply doing what we can to do the best we can on our own, relying on no one? Or do we take a companion, someone who's dedicated to aiding us in everything we need to accomplish, right? And the question then becomes, what is the shape of that companion? Is it another person, right? Is it a pet, or is it nothing, right? So we choose as humans, right, what companionship will be for us, right? Now, traditional, regular Muggle people who are sadly disconnected from Dungeons and Dragons, the risk on this decision is so high, right? They don't really have any way to experiment with this, to ask genuine questions. We do as Dungeons and Dragons players. We get to see what it's like to have a companion, right? What is when a companion is lost? Is the loss so deep and so damaging that the amount of aid they gave us was not worth the pain we experience at the loss of a companion? We can know that. We can find that out in the narrative canvas that the Dungeon Master sets that down. Or are these moments of shared triumph different than solitary triumph? Are they so powerful and give us so much joy in sharing a victory with another creature, with another living being? Is it so valuable and so impacting and so life-changing that it's worth the loss of part of our empathy, right? Which is always dedicated to this companion, right? Is the emotional investment of being of attaching yourself and connecting yourself in this fundamental powerful way, even to the point of loss, where you will be sacrificing things for the benefit of your companion. Are the shared moments of triumph worth that? All of this comes into stark relief, right? And we get a better view than Muggle humans, right? We get to run these experiments, ask these questions, and you are going through your gauntlet of all the Dungeons & Dragons player characters. In my humble opinion, you have this opportunity to learn these truths, to see the value of togetherness, or to say, I reject it and I am only going to be connecting myself. I will establish myself and I will connect myself, right, to aloneness. And the Ranger gives us this platform to run these experiments, to ask these questions, and to surge ourselves forward with wisdom others don't have. All that's my opinion. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Ranger, the companion, whether we live alone, whether we dedicate ourselves to shared triumphs, whether connecting ourselves at a level as deep as the Ranger's companion is worth the pain when there's the loss of a companion, or if shared triumph is worth more. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.